Sorry. All right, so A26, number 9. There's my really pretty graph. I know I should cut and paste, but I don't want to, so I didn't. Anyway, I'm going to find the slope of that line. First thing I do is I look at it, and I see it's going up as I look at the graph from left to right. Therefore, without doing any math at all, I know my slope. Oh, that's just really pretty. That's an equal sign. Oh, I have to erase that. That's too messy. There. Okay. My slope is positive. All right, now we'll go ahead and actually calculate the slope. So once again, the slope is the change in y over the change in x. So that's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I just arbitrarily assigned my points. So I made the point 0, 0, x1, y1, and I made the point 3, 3, x2, y2. And so I'll go ahead and start plugging those in. So y2 is 3, so I'm going to get 3. And then y1 is 0. And x2 is 3. And x1 is 0. So that gives me a slope of 3 over 3, which I can say is 1. So that means the change in y over the change in x is equal to 1. And it's easier if I think of that as a fraction. So I'll put it as 1 over 1 here. And once again, as I come over back to my friend the graph here, if I go change in y up 1 over 1, there it is. I'm still on my line. If I go up 1 and over 1, I'm still on my line. If I go up 1 and over 1, I know I'm still on my line, and I get to the point 3, 3. And there it is, pretty little set of stairs climbing up to the point 3, 3, and that shows that I have a slope, in fact, of 1. All right, that's it for that problem. Let's go ahead and move on to the next. All right, so A26, number 20. So I'm going to find the slope between the point -7, 1 and 7, 8. So I went ahead and made a quick graph, plotted those points, and if I, in fact, connect those dots and get my line, I can see once again that as I look at the graph from left to right, it's going up. Therefore, I know that my slope is positive. Right? So now I'm just going to go ahead and go back to my definition. The slope is the change in y over the change in x. And that's going to be equal to, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. I'll make this guy here x1, y1. And I'll make this guy over here x2, y2. Once again, it doesn't matter. I just happened to choose those because that's what I did. So I know that y2 is 8. So I have 8 and y1 is 1. So I have 8 minus 1 in my numerator. And in my denominator, I have my change in x. So x2 is 7 and x1 is -7. So I have 7 minus a -7. And I know that 8 minus 1 is 7. And I know that 7 minus -4, 7 minus -7, if I remember that I say that that is the minus, right? I can take the opposite of that opposite. And now I see that 7 minus -7 is the same thing as saying 7 plus 7. And I get a 14 in my denominator. And that simplifies to 1/2. So my slope is a positive 1/2. And then, of course, I could do it that way, or I could have done it by simply looking at having taken the time to graph it, right? I could have done it by counting. So I could have gone, okay, I'm going to make my triangle here, going from change in y. There it is. That's I'm going to write over everything in blue this time. So my change in y, and my change in y, I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my change in y was 7. And then I can go ahead and figure out what my change in x is, and that's going to be how I move, right, horizontally. And so when I move horizontally, I'm going to come all the way across here. And if I count those points, right, I'm going to get a big number, a lot of counting going to go on right now. You ready? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So my change in x is in fact 14. And then I know if I want to think about it in terms of rise over run, that's 7 over 14. And of course 7 over 14 simplifies to 1/2. So that takes care of that one for us. Okay, so A26 number 22. I want to find the slope of the orange line. So I'm going to look at the slope from left to right, and I'm going to decide if it goes up or down. And in this particular case, it's a bit of a conundrum because it doesn't go up or down. It stays even. So I don't really know what the slope is, so I'm going to go ahead and just choose 2 points on my line, because I know if I have 2 points, I can always find the slope between those 2 points. So this point here is 2, 4, and I'm going to go ahead and say that that is x1, y1. Then I'm going to choose another point. I'll choose this guy way over here, and the coordinates of that point are -4, 4, and that I'm going to call x2, y2, because I already used x1 and y1. So now I'm going to say, by definition, my slope is the change in y over the change in x. That's going to be equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I make those substitutions. y2 is 4. y2 is 4. y1 is 4. That's the change in my y's. In my numerator and in my denominator, I have the change in my x's. And x2 is -4. And x1 is 2. So I have -4 minus 2. And that's going to be equal to, well, in my numerator, I have 4 minus 4, which is 0. And in my denominator, I have 4 minus 2. Once again, when I have 4 minus 2, I can say that's -4 plus a -2. And now in my denominator, that leaves me with -6. Well, 0 divided by -6 is 0. And once again, my quick check here is by saying, in fact, that 0 times -6 is, in fact, 0. So I can say 0 times -6 is equal to 0. And that is, make that a little neater, that is the end of what I'm going to show you. Problems I'll do for assignment 26. All right, guys. This time I will leave you with some pretty little, or almost pretty little red hearts. There you go. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.